Masechta Bava Basra. Daf Kufayin Aleph Amud Aleph. We're starting from the third line from the top. Yesterday we learned that Rav Huna said in the name of Rav that he argues with Rav Yehuda that Rav Yehuda is mashma that Adam could tear up the star and exchange the star, and Rav Huna says no, you can't. Rav Huna said in the name of Rav only Bezin can tear up the star, and the reason why is because Bezin has the power to be mafkiya money. Here we're talking about writing an earlier date and to be able to be goyim from the kochis from an earlier date, even though they wrote a new star. According to, if you're writing a new star, it should go from today. So only Bezin has that power. Adam should have that power. Adam can only write from today or star. They can't write from an earlier date. Adam shouldn't be able to rip up the star. So therefore, Rav Huna said the only one that can rip up the star is Bezin. You're saying Adam cannot rip up a star. Adam that had written even 10 studies over one Sada, the guy lost one star, another star. They could keep on rewriting the star when it comes to one Sada. And you said could be place. So anyway, so Rav Yosef answers. What did he say that Adam could exchange a star by a star matana? Because star matana is not made with a warranty. That if somebody gives a matana, it's a matana. There's no warranty, so there's nothing to worry about that it's going to be predated because there's no warranty. It's not going to help anything. But Abba Amma gives a different. Well, how is he going to be matana? If the Balchayv takes it away, right, and he comes and takes it. Yeah, so the Balchayv could take it away from the one who got it as a matana, and the one who got the matana has no guarantee anyway. No, he has it to show that the guy gave it to him as matana. He shouldn't come and take it back. But Abba says, only what kind of studies could they keep on writing over? A star that there's no guarantee. So if there's no guarantee, there's no. It's like a matana, and he's not. So there's nothing to worry about that he's going to collect from the lekuchas before the time. Says Gemara, we learned before an excerpt of the Braisa, a piece of the Braisa that talks about the machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi ben Ageya. Rabbi Yehuda says you rip up the star and you give him another star if he paid part of the chayv, and Rabbi Yossi says no, you give him a shayv, you give him a receipt. In fact, Gemara my Braisa. Which is the Braisa that you gave an excerpt of a piece of it? Tell us what's this Braisa. Give us some more. Tell us the whole Braisa. The time we learned the Braisa.
Who's asking this question?
The Gemara is asking. The Gemara wants a clarity. It doesn't say who's the Gemara. I mean, of course, the ones that were Mechabed, the Gemara. The Yeshiva Mistama. In fact, Gemara, my Braisa. What's this Braisa? The time we learned the Braisa. The slaver had a chayv of 1,000 zuz, uparmahen chamish meyeh zuz, and he paid up 500 zuz. Eidim.
Now I know where you got this mushroom from the 1,500.
Yeah. Eidim mekarin esashtar. Yes. The Eidim rip up the star because and they write a new star. That's a mizmanisha. Not from the earlier date when they write the second star, they don't write today's date. From the original one, they were Rabbi Yehuda. Those are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yosef, star zeh, don't rip up the star. Make sure you give him a receipt. And for two reasons, I'm telling you why we should give a receipt and not write a new star. Because of two reasons. One is we write a receipt. One reason is he'll pressure the later to pay back because he's going to be holding on to Hashem. He might lose it. The mice might eat it. Like we discussed yesterday. So that's one pressure point. That's a good reason to give him a shaver to hold on to feel that he's going to lose it. So he'll pay up. The second reason, because if you write a new star, you're going to only be able to have the guarantee from today's date that he writes it. So he rather hold the original star that he has a guarantee from the original date, which is you have more of a chance getting back your money because he might have sold it to the lekuchis from the earlier date. Okay. fact, the Yomada, Rabbi Yehuda Nami Mizman Rishon Kama. Rabbi Yehuda didn't say when you write a star, you write it from the second, from today's date, you write it from the earlier date. Yeah. Says the Yomada Hacha Kama Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. This is the pshat. What Rabbi Yosef said to Rabbi Yehuda. Mizman Rishon Kama. If you're going to say that the second star that you're writing is from the original date, so then I only have one reason why one should give a sheva. Which one? The one that pressures, if you give us the level sheva, a receipt, he's going to be pressured to pay back the other 500. He's afraid he's going to lose the sheva. And im is man sheni kamrit. But if you're going to say you collect only from when you write a new star, you only go according to the current date, and you lose the earlier date, then I have two reasons. I have a second reason why I want he should have a sheva and not rip up the first star. Because if you rip up the first star, you're not going to have the guarantee from the earlier date. If you say when you write a second star, you can only use today's date. So he says, either I have two reasons that I'm arguing with you to give a sheva, or I have only one reason. You understand? Either the reason is one reason for sure that he's pressuring.
The first reason is
everybody agrees to pressure the labor to pay back. The second reason depends if Rabbi Yehuda holds that when you write a new star, if he holds that you write from the earlier date, then he doesn't have a second reason. But if you hold the second star is written only from today's date, then Rabbi Yosef says, I have another reason. He's losing the warranty from the earlier date. A star that was this man on the star is written on Shabbos. Or the date was written on Yom Kippur. So what happened was he was writing here, he gives an example. He wrote the 15th, it says it was written, yeah. So he says he made a mistake. He wrote the English date, 15th of October. He didn't really know the English date. And it came out, it fell on a Shabbos. So it came out, it fell on Yom Kippur. Yeah, he didn't do it with Mason. Isn't it considered as a... Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, is it a late star? Kosher, and it's kosher. 1 minute. Kosher, Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, it's for sure, when they wrote the star, Edom are not coming to play around and write an earlier Zman, which everybody holds it's possible, because you don't have a right to be Goyim Melekuchis before the Avad took place. So it's for sure Shtam Ucha. Rabbi Yossi, Paisel. Rabbi Yossi says it's possible. Amaloi Rabbi Yehuda says, V'haloi Maise Bala Fanach B'tzipeirei. V'hirsharta. He says, how could you, Rabbi Yossi, say this case is possible? This story came before you and you were mashit. Amaloi Rabbi Yossi said, that's the name of the city. That this star, came before you in Siperi, such a star, and you made it kosher. Amaloi Rabbi Yossi said, Kishir Sati, Bazer Sharti. When I said it's kosher, only if they wrote it on a day that it couldn't have been, like Shabbos or like Yom Kippur. What about Rabbi Yehuda and Bazer Kama? Aren't we talking about these two cases, these two dates? That he wrote it on Shabbos and Yom Kippur? And Rabbi Yossi, you said it's possible. So what do you answer me? Rabbi Yossi said the only time it's kosher if he wrote it on Shabbos or if he wrote it on Yom Kippur, the date. It's going to be, you said only that time will be kosher. But you just said in the Braisa, because it's a Shtam Ucha. It's for sure Shtam Ucha. But why did Rabbi Yossi say it's possible when in the Braisa, in the first, before the story in Tzipayri, he said it's possible. In the story of Tzipayri, he said it's the exact same case. And he said only in this case, he said it's kosher. I mean, that's what we're talking about, this case.
Said before possible.
Right, so that's what the Imam is asking. You said, so what did Rabbi Yossi answer? Well, in Tzipayri, you know why I passed in kosher? Because it was either I fell out, the date was Shabbos. Shabbos. So he's asking, no, the kasha is, what did you answer me? You answered me, the reason why he was mashrit, because it was a date of Shabbos or Yom Kippur. But here the Braisa says the date of Shabbos and Yom Kippur. Rabbi Yossi said it's possible.
Because if it's Shabbos and Yom Kippur, it's a get mocha.
It's a get mocha. It should be kosher.
Because you didn't. In other words, the action, the loan happened before Shabbos.
No, after. The loan happened before Shabbos. Yeah. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yehuda and Abba Zakam, they're talking about this case. How could Rabbi Yossi said before apostle and it's Ipuri, he said it's kosher? Everybody says for sure if the Zman of the star was written, everybody agrees that if the date fell out on Shabbos or it fell on Yom Kippur, everybody knows that the case, the halva didn't happen on Shabbos. Everybody knows it didn't happen on Yom Kippur. And normally, yeah, for sure, on Yom Kippur. And normally when Adam sign on a star, they're signing on a kosher star. So it's obviously, they knew it was a star me'ucha, and it's fine. Loi nechliku, ela b'shtar me'ucha be'olma. Were they arguing by a star which didn't fall on Shabbos, didn't fall on Yom Kippur? Do we assume it's still a star me'ucha or not? For Yom Kippur and Shabbos, we know for sure it's a star me'ucha. How about it falls out on a weekday, right? And we know it's not the right date. So what do we do? Rabbi Yehuda l'tamei. Rabbi Yehuda says every star me'ucha is kosher. So if it was, let's say, it didn't fall out on a Shabbos or Yom Tov, so Rabbi Yehuda goes according to his reasoning. He says every star me'ucha is kosher. Yeah, but he says everybody agrees. We know it's a star me'ucha, right?
Because there was Eidos and everything was fine when they wrote it. So.
The Eidim agreeing it was a shtar me'ucha. If it was be'alma, it wasn't on Shabbos or Yom Tov. And he says, again, for sure, by a shtar me'ucha, that's where was the machlekes between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi. When we said kosher apostle, we're talking about in shtar me'ucha can zayin a machlekes eichet epsis kosher apostle. How? Rabbi Yehuda l'tamei da'ama ein koisen sheva. We don't write a receipt. When a guy comes and he says, pay me back my chayv, and the guy says, I lost my star, and here's the receipt. So Rabbi Yehuda says, if you can't, he says, the labor could say, I don't want to pay you. I don't want a receipt. You bring me back the star, I pay you. If you don't have a star, you can't give me a sheva.
Well,
And he says,
that means you write a new
Who?
star. You don't write a shuvah.
a sheva, that's according to Rabbi Yehuda. It's a machlekes. Nothing no churva will come out of it. What kind of churva could come out? Once I will soon see. Rabbi Yossi l'tamei. Or I'll just say, what's the churva? You know why he said since he said you don't write a sheva. Let's say there was a shtar me'ucha, right? Let's say the shtar was written. The story really happened in Nisan, but they wrote a me'ucha dekadei that happened in Tishrei. Shtar me'ucha is kosher because the malva is the one that's losing, and he's agreeing. Okay. I won't be able to collect from Nisim, but I'll collect from Tishrei. Okay. Now, between Nisim and Tishrei, the guy has money. Lavan says, I have money. Okay, and we say a guy always wants to get rid of the chayv. So he wants to. Okay, so he wants. So he has the money. He pays up the chayv. Let's say Tammuz. Okay, he gives him a sheva. The sheva says today's date. He paid up in Tammuz. The Malva thinks, well, I gave him Tammuz, he paid me up. Ich gave money noch einmal. Because my star is me'ucha. My star is Zok Tishrei, that he lent the money. No, so it says Tishrei. So Tishrei is the new chayv. So he's going to come later, even after Tishrei, and they say, hey, you have to pay me. He's going to show a shayva. He says, hey, your shayva is from before Tishrei, it's a different halva. My halva is from Tishrei, that's not so noch einmal. So because I have a shtar me'ucha, even though shtar me'ucha is kosher, but that's only according to Rabbi Yehuda that we don't allow a sheva. But Rabbi Yossi tamei, Rabbi Yossi, right? But Rabbi Yossi is apostle. You remember we learned Rabbi Yossi says it's possible. Rabbi Yossi tamei, the Amar kois from sheva. Rabbi Yossi says we do give him a receipt. Oh, you give him a receipt, he can do all these shenanigans. Because he'll pay up in Tammuz, and he'll have a sheva from Tammuz, and the end of it, and the shtar is staying Tishrei, and he'll manah nachamo. But nothing, when they chuvah, that's why even by shtar me'ucha, Rabbi Yossi said it's going to be possible. Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yeshua. Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yeshua said, "Afilu l'man de'amar kais v'in sheva." Even according to the man de'amar that says you do write a receipt for the leiva, hani mili al palgan. That's only if he paid miktsas from the loan. He paid 500 out of the 1,000. then we give him a sheva. Aval akulei. But what's if he's coming to pay up the whole chayv, and he tells him, I lost my star. So he said, no problem, I'll give you a receipt.
Oh,
The Malva says, I'll give you a receipt for the whole chayv. Loi. Aval akulei loi, he says, when it comes to the whole chayv, no. Then he has to produce the star, he doesn't get paid. Second, in fact,
So the Malva loses because he lost the shtar?
in fact, the Yemarav, Loi. It's not so. According to Rabbi Yosef, Afila Akuli Kasvinon. Even if he wants to pay up the whole thing, we give him a sheva. Where do we see that? Ki had Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Yosef have a masik peisusim Rabbi Abba. Like the story of Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Yosef. He came to collect money from Rabbi Abba. Also, Lakamei Rabbi Chanina Bar Papi. He came before the Rav, Rabbi Chanina Bar Papi, to collect his money. Amalei. Rabbi Yosef said to Rabbi Abba, have li Zuzi, give me my whole loan back. Amalei, Rabbi Abba said, no problem. Have li shtarai, Zuzi, give me the star, and then bank out. Amalei, so Rabbi Yosef said, answered back, Shtarach, Irkisli, your star that I had against you, that you owe me money, I lost it. I'll write to you a receipt in the place of the star. Amalei, so Rabbi Abba said, Rav Shmuel, Rav Shmuel said you don't write receipts on a chayv. So how could you demand that I give you a that the that I should accept the receipt if Rav Shmuel say that you have to give back the star? Omar, so Rab Chanina Bar Papi said, "Man Yoevlon ma'afrid Rav Shmuel Rabina Ba'ainen." He says, Rav and Shmuel were very dear to me. If somebody has the dust from Rav and Shmuel, I would put it over my eyes. But the mechilas kvoitchem, they're covered. I'm giving them the covered. Aber Rabbi Yechon Reish Lakish, Rabbi Yechon Reish Lakish, Dam Tavayu Kaisen Sheva. He says, "B'mechilas kvoitchem Rav Shmuel, I love you guys. You're very special to me." Aber Rabbi Yechon Reish Lakish is organized. M'shayv Tiyah Sheva. You do write a receipt.
But they're both the minors, so who's more
No, so he said we should follow up Yechon Reish Lakish. Allah tell me the Chacham. V'chein ki yaser Ravin, and he says even Ravin, when he came from Eretz Yisrael to Bava, Omar, he said in the name of Rabbi Elah, Koisvin Sheva, we do write a Sheva. Umistabra, and the Gemara ends off, and it's reasonable to say that Koisvin Sheva, that we do write a receipt even when it comes to a whole chayv. The Isal Kadaita,
Because what is he paying? He's saying I don't owe the money, or he said I paid you the money?
he says I owe you the money, but you got to
What
give
does the
him.
labor say?
The Levi agrees he owes the money. Rabbi Abba says I owe the money.
He's asking, give me the
He
star.
says give me the
I
star.
don't have it.
I don't want to give you the money. You're going to come to me again. I'm afraid.
Says,
Go find find your star, and then I'll pay you.
It's lost. It's gone.
Too bad.
Why can't they write?
Oh.
Why can't they write on the Sheva?
Oh.
When you find the star.
Okay, we'll get to it soon. Isal Kedaita. Now, if it's going to enter your mind, increase in Sheva, that we don't write a Sheva, here comes your question. Avat Shtari Shalzeh. So if the Malva, it's possible that the Malva should lose the star, right? Yoichel Allah, so the Levas should consume his money. And that's it. He does Amachaya. Yeah. As if even the base the Batria. Aber soll ich signen? Und er heißt der Apfel, und er sagt, Amachaya. Wir können essen einen Apfel und noch hätten das Batria. Yeah. So he said. So over here he's saying, look, he's telling me that and he's not paying me back my money, and he could be happy about it.
He follows the Rabbanim.
Yeah, I'm following the law. I follow the letter, mamish, by the law. So he says, "Maskala Abai asked, well, am I?" So therefore, you say you do write a sheva because the lady shouldn't get away with it. So Maskala Abai asked the reverse. Well, am I? Kaisin sheva, you're going to write a sheva of a sheva shalzeh. So now the Leva might lose his sheva because we say that want to eat it. So now the Malva can sitzen und freuen sich because he'll come back with the star when he finds it and collect again. So the labor has to now worry the rest of his life and get white hair from it.
The both of them were.
So I'm a later over. Yes, the later has to worry about it. Why? Eved later leishmalva. A later is a eved to the malva. The malva lent him the money. The chvard, he did him a favor. So yeah, the later has to suffer a little bit.
So don't pay off part of the loan. Pay it in full.
We're talking about paying in full. He doesn't. If he pays in full, we said if you. That's where the machlekes is. Part they say you write a sheva.
In other words, the malva doesn't have a shah.
Right.
And you don't give him a shaver. So what? So what? You can still collect.
No. So if you we said we do give him a shaver. That's the maskana. He has to accept the shaver. So the Gemara now is, why does he? If he's going to accept the shaver, he might lose the shaver. And the malva might find the star and collect the second time. So the labor has to worry. So we said, yeah, it's too bad on the labor. He has to worry. He's a labor's habit to the malva. So you want to not hustle. We let there in the Mishnah Shvius. Shtari choif hamugdomim psulim. A star choif which has an earlier date. It's a pasla star because he's going to be able to collect from the earlier date, and the hava didn't even take place then. But if the star ucha, so and the malva's maskim that the collections happen later is ksheir and it's kosher. Omer Rav Amnuna said lo shanu. The chacham didn't say shtaris mucharim is kosher. Ella shtari hava, only by shtari hava. Avo shtari mekoch memka. When it comes to a sale of a field, afilu mucharim nami psulim. Even the star ucha is going to be puzzle. Why? My timer, Zimnim the Mezabin lay Arab Nissen. At times he's going to sell him the field in Nissen. Because of Lebe Tishrei, and he'll write in the star that he sold him the field in Tishrei. Umesamir lay Zuzi Benu Beni. And now in the meantime, he has money and he had the right to buy it back. And he wants back his field. So in Tammuz, the one that originally sold it, he sold it. Right, and he told when the Meicha sold it to the Lekeach, he says, "I'm selling it to you, but I want to have the right to buy it back." And he gives him a year's time or whatever. And the star with the Mechira was written in Nisan, and it was written that it was sold in Tishrei. So in Tammuz he has the money. It's between Nisan and Tishrei. He says, "Here's the money. I want my field back," and he takes the field back. Bezavin leimanei, and he buys it back from the Kaina. And he gives him a star. Yeah, you bought it back today. He writes the date. Here's your deed. It's back. We sold it. I sold it back to you in Tammuz. Okay. The Chimati Tishrei. Now Tishrei comes, and he says, "Hey, you're in my field." Mapikle, he said. He tells this guy, "Get out of my field." The original Meichel. He said, "What are you talking about? I bought it back in Tammuz." But I bought it back from you a second time. So that's a problem. So he says you can't write Shtama Ucha because you might buy it back before the later date, and then he'll come and grab it back. In fact, why by Shtar Hava Nami? You said Shtar Hava is going to be kosher. We should worry about the Shtar Hava that he'll come collect the second time. Zimnim. The Yazib Benisim. At times, the person, Reuben, will lend Shimon $1,000, 1,000 zuz in Nisim. Because of lay b'shtara, but in the star will be written the halva happened b'tishrei. U'misame lay zuzi benu beni, and it'll have the label will have money between Nisan and Tishrei in Tammuz. U'paralei, he'll pay him in Tammuz, and he'll get a receipt on Tammuz that he paid. He's going to first, the Levi is going to say, "Give me a star that I paid you back." No problem. I lost the star. Oh, but because of late he wrote him a receipt in Tammuz, you paid back. Now comes Tishrei. He said, "Hey, comes Miguel." And he'll say to the Levi, "Honey, that money that you showed me with the receipt, look at your date. It's Tammuz. But I lent you in Tishrei, even though he lent him in Nisan. Hashta, who is after me now? So we have to worry. He's going to take again. After he paid back the chayv, he's going to collect the second time. Says the Gemara, the reason why we said by Shtar, although it's going to be kosher, Kosher, because Kasava, Rav Amnuna holds,
Okay.
ain't Kaisin Sheva when it comes to Hava. Hava, we don't write a Sheva. Amalei Rav Yema
By
Rav.
Mecha we do.
By Mecha we do. That's why he said no good. By Mecha, he's going to buy it back and he'll give him another paper. Amalei Rav Yema Rav Kahana. It's not called a Sheva by Mecha Memka. He's giving him a deed, and then he shows he bought it back. Amalei Rav Yema Rav Kahana. Rav Yema said to Rav Kahana, Amalei Rav Yema Yamidif to Rav Kahana. But itna today, the Kasvinon Shtar Mu'chari, they write a Shtar Mu'cha, the Kasvinon Tavra, and we also write by Shtar Havas receipts. So frankly, why? Why aren't we afraid of Ramos over here, of trickery? So he said, Bas the Amalu Rabbi Abba Lesafrei. We today, he says, after this tikkun, Rabbi Abba was misakin ki kasvinon shtar meuchari. When you write a shtar meucha, kisru hachi. Write in the shtar meucha. You write shtar denan loy bezimna kasavne. You write in the shtar meucha. It's not that date is not the real time that when it happened. It's a shtar meucha. It's a later date. So then, he can't make these tricks. He knows that date is not real. Today, that we don't write in the shtar. When you write a shtar meucha, you don't write that it's a late date. So what are you going to do? So he says,
Why don't you write it? Why don't you write it today?
he says, but today now they don't write. He says, Rav Safra was misakin. But he says today we don't do that tikkun. We don't write in Ashtam Elucha that it's not the real date, that it's a late date.
So why are we writing the Shtam Elucha in the first place?
Okay, 1 second. He says you're allowed. So Basa the Amma Lahu is Rav Safra Safrei. So afterwards, he says that after the takana, additional takana, after that, Rav Safra made an additional takana. What additional takana did he do? When they would write the receipts, they would write Iyad Isu Zimin in the Shtar if they knew the date that was written in the Shtar.
The first date.
The Shtar is written Meucha, it's written Tishrei. So if they know the date that's written in the Shtar, so Kisu, they would write in the receipt, this is paying back the Shtar which is written Ashtar Meucha Tishrei. You understand? This is a Sheva for the Shtar that's written even though the Hava happened in Nisan. But this Sheva, you would write in the Sheva, this is a payment.
He paid him in Thomas.
He paid him in Thomas. You write, it's corresponding the shtar which has a date in Tishrei, so you don't have a problem.
So you know that this is a Shtar Meucha. So
Yeah, it's a shtar.
But you don't know what was
You're
the original
paying-
date. What was the original
It's
date?
not Negeya because you can't make the trick. You're saying this receipt is paying back the date of that shtar that's written in Tishrei.
Okay, but
And it's in Thomas, but
he
he-
got paid before that.
Yeah, so he writes, I'm paying you today in Tammuz, but this payment is a payment against the shtar that was written that I like
What
that
date is in the
Tishrei.
Shaiber?
It says Tammuz, but it's corresponding paying a payback to the shtar that's written in Tishrei.
Oh, so he can't come.
So he can't
No,
come.
the Shtar says that it was written in Tishrei, right?
Yeah, but he can't pull out the shtar later and try to collect again because the receipt says it paid back that shtar that was written for
No, it says
Tishrei.
my Shaiber says Thomas.
Yep.
Your Shtar says Shaiber, but this is the payment. And this Shtar
that's
says
the
that
Zman of
so we know
Tishrei.
that there's something with it.
No, we know exactly what it is. It's paying back the shtar that has the Tishrei date on it. So if you pull out a shtar with a
So we
Tishrei
know
date on
that
it,
the loan was earlier.
right,
Because he paid in Thomas.
right, Eloi. But what's if you don't know the real date in the shtar? Kisu stama. Then in the receipt, don't put a date. Don't write that you paid back in Thomas. Just write you paid back.
So you
The
can-
whole aim is the nafik. And so anytime he'll pull out the shtar, Larry, he'll show. Look, here's my receipt.
receipt.
I paid up. I'm late. Avinu Rabashi. I'm late. Rabashi. Rav Kahana. But today that we don't do this, we don't write in the receipt the date, or we don't give a stam receipt. Amalei Rabbanan takune takine. Chachams were masakin takones to hold back from the malva tricking the leiva. Man of it, one who does this takana He's protecting himself not to come to a loss. Man deloy avid, one who doesn't follow this takana, iyu, who the Amsterdam Shay, he himself caused his own loss.
So wasn't trying to say that